sir. It's called to order at 7:33, is being held in pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act, NJSA 10-4-6, and all provisions of that act have been met with adequate notice. This meeting having provided to the borough's 2 official newspapers and also published on the borough's website. First order of business is approval of the minutes from July 12th. Does anyone have any corrections or additions to be made? Did you have anything else? It was good.
That's good.
None?
Nope.
All right, someone make a motion to approve the minutes.
Make a motion.
Someone second?
Second.
John, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion's carried. Okay. Third order of business is an invitation to the public to speak, and we have public tonight, so welcome to the Environmental Commission meeting. I know in advance who you are, but please introduce yourself.
Okay, hello, good evening.
Just speak up a little bit louder.
Okay. My name is Jill Soni. I live in South Plainfield, and we are all juniors from the South Plainfield High School, and yes, and we're part of the Environmental Club. We are also very passionate about making climate change an urgent priority and electing people that stand up for the health and well-being for the people in our communities. So we have recently established a community hub in South Plainfield. You might have heard of it. It's called South Plainfield Sunrise. And we're basically trying to get the community on board with the vision of the Green New Deal and also stopping the climate crisis. So we have roughly 8 members that are part of our team currently. But this upcoming school year, we're trying to bring it to school, possibly create a club, not only to raise awareness about utilizing clean energy, but also create or ensure that our school has a clear plan for climate disaster and when that strikes. So all of us here today are passionate about passing the resolution that rejects permits for the proposed gas-fired power plant in Woodbridge. Middlesex County's already has an ozone layer pollution rating of F, and the power plant would be sited in Woodbridge, which is a mile away from Edison, which is very close to us. And I believe that the risk outweighs the need for the power plant because Woodbridge already has 2 power plants that far exceed its energy needs, and a 3rd power plant would just expose Woodbridge and Middlesex County to even more unnecessary pollution. And the community there was actually supposed to have a public park and also a Woodbridge Energy Center, but because of the power plant, that land remains undeveloped and contaminated. So the actions of the generation before us impact us children and teens the most, and we can see some of that happening right now with the air pollution, and that prevents us from spending time outdoors or playing outside. And the heat waves also affect our lives right now and will in the future as well. Our generation is the one that will deal with the consequences of the actions of lots of adults. And we need to know if we can count on South Plainfield for this, for passing the resolution for this power plant. Thank you.
Let me just chime in here for the public comment part as it relates to the overall picture.
You want to identify yourself?
Yes, I'm Walter Kalman from South Plainfield, a longtime previous member of the Environmental Commission. And that's the point that I wanted to speak about tonight, was the fact that, as a number of you know, I was part of the Environmental Commission in its very early days. When John Bogdan was chair, I remember nights sitting around the...
Sorry, I'm late.
Sitting around John's dining room table designing the recycling center long before it was required to be done by law. This Environmental Commission during my time has been a leader in trying to address these kinds of issues. Part of your agenda relates to public education and public information and technology. So throughout my time with the Commission, much of my role was focused on aspect of public education, because that's such a critically important part. Larry Randolph, former chair of the commission, Dorothy, yourself, you guys are deeply involved in educating the public about issues relating to the environment, the history, the community of South Plainfield. The teaching, educating, public information role of this council is one of its most critical roles, despite all the other work that you do. Being the way to help educate people to issues around the climate and the environment are essential part of your role. You've taken a leadership role in that here and in other areas around the state. And I'm proud of the work of this commission in that area. It also includes educating elected officials. The kind of information that's available to elected officials who need to know about many, many issues and that they're trying to deal with isn't the kind of deep knowledge that you guys have as a part of this commission. And it's critical that you use that role of, as your advisor to the elected officials here in town to confirm the knowledge and the information that they need to make wise decisions. We should be excited about the fact that we've got these younger students coming here tonight. This is, in all the years I've been on the commission, that we never had a crowd like this. That's for sure. This is your opportunity to take that leadership role as the commission and help the community understand the dangers and the issues that are involved in this, but also helping the elected officials here in town understand the deeper issues, which sometimes they're not the kinds of things that cross their radar screen. We should be encouraging these students and the work that they do. The future belongs to them. The things we leave behind are the things they're going to have to deal with as part of their future. And that is perhaps the most critical role of the Environmental Commission. So I'm hoping that tonight you'll be able to take some of this information and be able to convey it to those who have to make official decisions on behalf of our community. Thanks.
Did he interrupt you with what you were saying, or did you say what you need to say?
I think I was going to say something as well. So my name is Nivash Balkaran. I'm also a student at South Plainfield High School. I just wanted to say, I mean, from a personal standpoint, everything from the heat waves to the pollution in the air, that's affected me and my family and my friends throughout our entire lives. Like even like recently, I'm not sure if you guys are aware, but also like behind the senior center, the environmental club, we're kind of working on, we're like designing one of the rain barrels that we're using. We're going to be more like environmentally sound because we're using a rain barrel to water the plants instead of like whatever they have been using. And so recently, like I and my friends were working on it and stuff like that, and it was hot outside as the heat waves have been. And I went home and I got sick that day because of heat exhaustion. And I couldn't do anything for the next few days. It was horrible, and I realized that, you know, this isn't something that just I deal with. Like thousands of people in our town, around the world, deal with heat exhaustion and all types of issues, hyperthermia, stuff like that, like all the time. Especially in hotter countries or hotter places than ours, I can't imagine. Not only that, like my family and I, like asthma runs in our family. So throughout my life, that's also been a concern, like a big health concern, is like as things get more polluted, not only just for me, but for future generations as well. Like when I have kids, if they have asthma, it definitely is scary to think about the possibilities. Maybe they won't be able to go outside as much. Maybe they won't be able to play sports because of it. Just those type of things. And as you know, we're from the Sunrise South Plainfield group. And we all go to the South Plainfield High School, but we're not directly affiliated with them yet. And one of the biggest reasons for that, we had a community fest recently that kind of got the whole community involved with the help of Mayor Anesh. He helped us secure the location for it. It was actually right here, like behind the library. And it was a great success. It went really well. And it definitely got a lot of people knowing about our Sunrise movement and more about the environment in general. And what it is that part of not being directly affiliated with the school yet is because we don't want our impact to stay school-wide. We kind of want it to reach the entire community, reach our whole town, and eventually reach other towns. So yeah, thank you.
And just asking how, in what way would you be affiliated with the school?
So the only way we would really be affiliated is if we decide to create a
School
club.
club.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
and that would be to continue raising awareness and gathering people. Yeah.
So it's separate from the environmental science?
Yeah.
club.
Yes.
Yep.
Have any other comments? You do? Go ahead.
Yeah, please.
No, fine.
Yeah, good evening, Commissioners. Charlie Cradaville, the Central Jersey organizer at Food and Water Watch and Food and Water Action, speaking to you today on behalf of our 70,000 members around the state of New Jersey. We have a New Jersey office in New Brunswick where I live and I'm a resident. I've been against this gas plant since I learned about it in 2018. It's just about 6 miles from where I live. It's about 6 miles from where we are right now. And some of the reasons that I'm so concerned about it have already been alluded to by the other speakers. So without belaboring it, I just want to say storms, fires, floods, bad air quality days, these are things that we can expect more of and more extreme amounts of if this plant is approved. It has not been approved. It is pending approval of an air permit that the state government has the ability to deny. And so our campaign is very much focused on getting Governor Murphy to reject the permit. But a great tactic to build political pressure is to have other leaders, especially local leaders who are on the ground and know the impacts of things like Tropical Storm Ida, where people's lives were lost, property damage, municipal expenses were incurred. And also people who are going to have to live with those consequences like the next generation here. So I came here to educate tonight. I do have a document I'd like to share with everybody. If you just take one, pass it around. Start with my friend there. And I would encourage everybody to pay close attention to two things on here. One is particulate matter. And so particulate matter is basically tiny particles. It's what we were breathing in when the Canadian wildfire smoke came our way. And you'll see there are many more tons of it that would be emitted directly from this power plant if approved. We don't want that. We don't want more particulate matter in our air. The EPA is clear that particulate matter can travel hundreds of miles. So we're not safe 6 miles out, and the people that are closest bear the worst burden. Particulate matter, the overwhelming amount of it in this is PM 2.5, which means it's smaller than 2.5 microns. And that type of pollutant, when you breathe it in, it is so small that it embeds itself deep inside your lungs and it stays with you the rest of your life. So the damage that these young people have to their lungs will stay with them on and on for years and decades and make it harder for them to breathe. And we see this right now with the Canadian wildfire smoke, where people who are vulnerable for any reason have had to stop enjoying the outdoor air because they can't breathe it without harming their health and risking their lives. So we don't want more days like that. We've already got our work cut out for us to undo the damage that has been done by fossil fuels, and the last thing we need is to be constructing new fossil fuel infrastructure, especially in dense areas like Middlesex County. So we're asking for leadership from this commission. This commission is supposed to advise the elected officials in the borough, and we think that if you look at the facts and do your research, you'll come to the same conclusion we have, that this is a bad idea and that the borough can make a difference, just like the 50-plus municipal governments that came out against the North Bergen gas power plant, and we stopped it because of those towns, because those towns said, we don't want this near us, we don't want to breathe in bad air because one ill-conceived idea from a private corporation might be approved. So we're asking this body to take a vote to recommend that the municipal government, mayor and council adopt a resolution like so many other towns have. We're now up to 16 elected governing bodies that have opposed the plant. That's 14 municipalities, 10 of them right here in Middlesex County, plus Somerset County government and the Highland Park Board of Education have all thought this was an important enough issue to protect their constituents, to protect their residents. They passed a resolution and sent it to Governor Murphy and the DEP to build pressure on him to do the right thing and protect us. So I'm asking you to do that today. I did watch recent council meetings where I saw this discussed and was a little disturbed to see that we didn't get our chance to really have this discussion in this space, because I know previously the council had referred us here. I tried to attend the meeting in May and arrived to find it was canceled. I was unavailable for the June meeting and understand it wasn't discussed there, and in fact, one of the people I work with was told that it would not be discussed at the July meeting and that we should go back to the council instead of the environmental commission. If a discussion happened without us, I apologize that we weren't there, but I want you to hear all sides of this and to advise the elected officials to do the right thing here. So if I may, could I ask, is the environmental commission open to making that kind of recommendation, and what information can we provide to help you?
Well, frankly, thank you for coming in and making your comments, and I'm really super happy to see that the high school is taking very affirmative action. My daughter was part of the Environmental Science Club for years when she was a student there, and we work very closely with your fellow students on lots of other projects. We are not, we're not prepared to discuss this issue. It's not something that we are going to do tonight. So I can say thank you, and, you know, you're heard.
Great.
Where it takes from there, I'm not sure.
Might we ask that it be placed on the agenda for the next meeting?
I don't think we can do that. We need to discuss this at some other level. I'm really, just thank you for coming in.
Yeah, well, I would urge you to consider placing it on the agenda. The best place to have these discussions is in public with everyone at the table and have all the information. We're happy to help. We're here to help, and I encourage you to follow up.
You know, we need to do our own research on this, because you say something is as such, doesn't mean it is. There's two sides to every issue, and it's not something that we are prepared to discuss. We're not dumbbells here. We know about this issue. We read the newspaper. We're well aware of what's going on, but to really say why this is continuing on, why is the New Jersey, the EPA holding back the permit, or are they holding it back, the last permit that's needed? Woodbridge has already approved this plant. You know, it's almost like we're fighting an uphill battle with this, and what little we can do here is probably just that, little. You do have a great group of other municipalities that have lent their support. I don't know if ours would make one bit of difference in any of this.
I'll just say, yes, it may be an uphill battle, but it's a battle for the future of these young people, and that's why we're undertaking it.
You know,
and I do.
Battle for the, you're talking about particulates in the lungs. This power plant is gonna create a lot more of this in the air. You know, that's happening all the time, and it's not because of one gas-powered plant. You're mentioning the Canadian wildfires. Maybe one day New Jersey will burn down, and all the rest of those particulates, everybody's gonna be breathing them in. Maybe we'll all have asthma. You know, it's just not any one thing that's causing all these issues, and it's just not gonna be any one thing that's gonna stop it or correct it.
We should do what we can, though, right?
There's so much more to be done.
I agree, there's a lot to be done. This is fossil fuel infrastructure proposed for our county. I don't want it. I hope you are with me on that, and I would ask that the commission look at it, you know, get the facts, get to the bottom of it. And I think that if you do, you'll come to the same conclusion that we have, that this is bad for South Plainfield. Regardless of what Woodbridge may have thought on their planning board meeting 5 years ago, you know, we all breathe the same air. The air quality doesn't respect municipal boundaries, political boundaries. Residents here will be affected if this is approved, if this is
So
built.
will every time our
just
planning
ask
board puts up a warehouse with more trucks, that's not the only battle over there in Woodbridge. Our battle is right here in town with the air the quality of the air that we breathe right now. Every time we look at a building plan, they put one more warehouse in our community. So it's,
Good.
Could I just ask a technical question? These numbers that you cite about the level of emissions for this plant, how does this compare to the existing plant or to other plants of a similar size? Is this more polluting, less polluting? Is is this just, business as usual, this is what plants put out?
Yeah, great question. It's comparable to the existing power plant that's at the site, so this would be essentially doubling the pollution by building a second one right next to the first one. And I will note that this is the largest gas plant currently proposed for New Jersey. No one else is proposing anything of this magnitude. PSE&G has sold their gas plants, they're getting out of the business. This is a company based overseas that wants to build this for profit, and we would be responsible for taking the health burden for their
So
profit.
this plant is larger than the existing plant, but it's not putting out more particulates?
So the same company opened a plant in 2016. They are proposing to build another one right next to it.
Yeah, I
So
understand that.
combined, it would be about double what it is today in terms of
But
emissions.
just, per kilowatt hour produced, is this more particulates than the existing plant, or possibly less? I mean, if they're both putting out 124 tons of particulates, and one is producing, and the new one will produce more energy, then the tons of particulates per unit energy must be less.
They're-
So they're proposing a more efficient power plant than the existing one, apparently.
I don't draw that conclusion. I'd encourage you to review the application and see for yourself the proposed emissions from Plant 1, Plant 2, and combined. They're all laid out in that document. I'm happy to continue the conversation and share more with you, but they're very comparable proposals. The first one was 725 megawatts. This would be 657.
Oh, so it's
So-
not big.
It doesn't produce less, it produces less electricity, a little bit less
Okay, you said it was
capacity.
the biggest one in the state, and apparently it's not.
No, it's the biggest one currently proposed, right? Things change. We've learned a lot about what is good or not to build, and this is an outlier in terms of being proposed in the year 2023, a new massive gas power plant. No one else is proposing such a thing in New Jersey.
All right. Thank you for coming. And we need to continue on with our meeting.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
No, it sounds like it's dirty.
I'm sorry?
So it's actually dirtier, because it's gonna produce less energy with the same level of particulates as the existing one. So it'll be more particulates per megawatt hour than the existing plant. That's surprising. You would think the technology would have improved since the last one was built. It's disturbing. And the state is ready to let this go through.
Well, that hasn't been decided yet, that's the point, that until the governor has signed off on it, and until the EPA has signed off, which they haven't done yet, that is not approved. It's only approved by the planning board
Yeah.
of Woodbridge.
When you say the governor hasn't signed off, is it a usual part of the process for the governor to sign off on these permits? I never heard that.
I'd be happy to
Yeah.
address that. So it's a Title V air permit under Title V of the Clean Air Act. Under what's called delegated authority, the state DEP gets the final approval. Of course, the commissioner serves at the pleasure of the government. The DEP is an executive branch office, and so that agency is going to get the final say on whether or not, or I shouldn't say the final say. They will make a determination, and then because it's a federal law, there's a period of time where the federal EPA would review the decision and potentially make a
So-
change. But
Governor Murphy doesn't really come into it. I mean,
If
he's not
Governor-
actually gonna sign a document.
if Governor Murphy didn't want this to happen, it would stop, similar to the North Bergen power plant, where he expressed that he had an epiphany and that the activists had gotten through to him, and he put an end to that one. We want him to do the same for this one.
Sorry, I just, like to know what we're talking about.
Okay. We have to move on, it's 8 o'clock. Budget?
Okay, so there was no activity in the O&E budget. You've got a balance of $1,962. Clean Communities grant, 2023 grant is now active in Edmonds and we're spending it. Since the last meeting, we spent $1,478 on salaries, $570 on the contract, 2 empty litter cans, $330 to repair the brakes on truck 8, $340 for dog waste bags, and $307 encumbered for promo items. The total spending since last month was $3,026. Year to date from the 2023 grant, $16,214, with an overall balance to date of $55,375. There was no activity in the signs fund, no activity in the tree fund. That is the budget.
Thank you. Okay, committee reports. Melanie?
Nothing to report, but I did want to ask, maybe this is not the time though, about the tree recommendation for Norwood
Well, it will come up under
later on.
tree.
Okay.
Putting the cart before the horse.
Yes.
That's it?
That's it.
Rich is not here, Brian is not here,
Adam's here.
Adam's here for site plan
Okay.
review.
One very large site plan, 200 Helen Street. I neglected to write what it was off of. If anyone can, is that off of Coolidge by chance? Off of
200 L.
Is it on the list here?
Helen,
Is it off of Hamilton?
No, one connects to Coolidge.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's off of Endora.
Off of
It's
Coolidge,
off
which
of
is off of
Hamilton, but
Hamilton
it's,
Boulevard.
This is farther up.
Thank you.
Farther.
Yeah.
Was it, I believe it was previously Restaurant Depot, if I recall correctly. No, not Restaurant Depot.
Jordache.
Thank you. Yeah.
It's a
Yeah, originally
huge
Rickles.
warehouse,
Very large.
lots of tenants. It's
Three
at the
quarters-
corner of Coolidge.
Yeah,
Three-quarters
okay.
of a million square feet. A variety of tenants. Interesting. Skateboard repair, bus parts and repair, packing, shipping, warehouse shipping, trucking, Class A recycling facility, and then scattered office use. Currently, a kind of, what would you call it, overgrown detention basin. Proposed is a addition, 170,000 square feet. Speculative. This portion is speculative. There's no tenant, as most of the warehouse construction we have seen is speculative. New driveway will be constructed from Coolidge. Various loading docks, reconfigured parking, a lot of off to the striping and whatnot, grading modifications, and the existing overgrown basin will be filled and replaced with 2 underground detention basins.
To accommodate the additional square footage.
Correct, yeah. And just to, they're filling in completely so encompass the whole building's runoff now. Very large environmental impact statement, mainly on stormwater runoff. A couple little tidbits here. No inventory on the trees to be removed. Well, first off, no result in environmental, adverse environmental impact. That was the conclusion of the impact statement. But again, no inventory of trees to be removed. I'm not sure, Alice, if that would be, if that would fall under the, with the tree ordinance, how portion developed versus portion undeveloped, and the difference would be the allowable
Yeah,
trees to be removed.
you know, that's one of the problems with the existing tree
Correct.
ordinance.
Yeah.
It's very ambiguous.
Yeah. So in that case, roughly there would be, and this is from satellite imagery and from street view, right around 55 trees. Maybe a higher equivalent, tree equivalent when you factor in diameters, but they did give no inventory. And their planting scheme includes only sea green junipers, which you probably wouldn't consider that a tree.
No,
So,
sure.
169 of them though, so quite a bit. But so there is no adequate tree replacement. We may have to dig in and see how they interpreted the tree replacement in the ordinance. Air quality from an additional 100 truck trips as well as over 200 car trips from this, not just from the entire facility, but from this new portion being constructed. So a total of 300 vehicle trips. It's concerning, especially with the Traditions being close by with high density housing. I thought maybe that could be an opportunity to have them pay into the tree fund to offset a small portion of their emissions. I thought that could be an interesting discussion. Technically, the basin is wetland. The drainage basin is wetlands, but the NJDEP declared it unregulated, so they are allowed to fill that. I know Alice, you made a note about the wood turtle habitat, potential wood turtle habitat, but it seemed to be being not considered wetland. It seemed to take that off the table, from what I interpreted from the letter. Bald eagles were spotted. Wood turtles off-site, I believe, were found.
Well, it is disjunct, you
Right.
know, it's,
Yeah,
you've got these roads in between.
yeah. And that drainage, yeah, the pass-through under the road. And that brings us to the landscape plan. Again, 169 sea green junipers, known for being relatively deer resistant, pretty strongly deer resistant, so no issue there. But again, they're not considered trees, so we'll have to look into that. Recycling plan waiver requested because proposed expansion will not significantly impact the existing recycling plan. So I think we should request the existing recycling plan.
Yeah, but during a new where, all this stuff comes, you know the recycling's gonna be different.
But it's speculative. So maybe they're going off of that fact that, well, there will be no tenant, but that
Well,
would
if they
always
have
be
no
the case.
tenant, then why would I waste my
Correct.
time building this?
Yeah. Well, it's purely speculative, so. Again, and I think out of the 4 warehouses we've seen, they've been speculative, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Could be the new crash. A lot of speculation on warehouses recently. But yeah, that's, so. Any additional comments?
We'll add lots of no idling signs though, right, for all the trucks?
Oh, yeah, thank
It's
you.
in there.
A lot, very large no idling signs,
They
yeah,
do have no idea.
Yeah.
They're extra larger.
yeah. Yeah. And then again, I don't know if you wanna discuss having, do with the, residents being close by and the housing,
Yeah,
maybe paying into,
How close is that? Is it like a quarter mile?
within a quarter mile,
Yeah.
if I recall, yeah,
Pretty close.
Yeah, it is.
yeah. It could even be, it might be, I
Across
did
the
not
street.
measure it, it could even be closer, yeah. I gotta check the map. Two seconds.
Doesn't that warehouse stretch from Allen all the way over to the street? It's west.
Traditions
West,
right there.
south.
South.
It's Concept Pharmaceuticals.
Yeah, it's, where is their brew on that site?
Ooh, pretty much where the
Where
drainage
detention
basin is,
Yeah.
yeah,
now,
yeah.
right.
Just that little corner, the building actually goes, it is a corner of itself, an
Yeah.
inward corner, and then they're filling in that corner. Celebrations, did I say traditions?
Yeah, celebrations.
Yeah, 100 feet away.
Uh-huh.
200 to the closest
The,
housing.
the access driveway, is it,
From Coolidge?
it's from Coolidge, so it will be audible from the housing?
Correct.
Yes.
If I recall, they may have mentioned noise reducing technologies.
Oh, yeah,
The
Yeah.
train runs right behind there too.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
so,
I'll follow up on, I'll follow
It's
up.
hard to make a case for the truck
Trains.
noise
Yeah.
when there are trains
Yeah.
going by.
I don't think the train goes through there very often.
I used to work there, pretty often. It was often enough, yeah.
Oh, yeah? That's part of the main line.
Mhm.
Yeah. Any comments?
Just got to
Yeah.
tree plant.
Tree plant,
Well,
recycling
Those
plant.
169 junipers aren't gonna cut it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do accept, you know, arborvitae and
Correct,
eastern
yeah,
red cedar.
yeah.
What is this, what did you call it, a sea?
This is a sea green juniper. It's, I'd say maybe, what would you, 6 feet at the
Yeah.
max height.
It never gets hot. bigger
One
than
of those
6
kind of,
feet.
like a
Yeah.
sweeping type of shrub.
They're just hiding the property.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. And they go right around the disturbed part of the
Well,
property.
again, it just depends on what size trees are in there, if they're gonna do 2 for 1 or.
Right, they haven't factored, they've completely neglected to
Yeah,
include that.
that's why,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
why they're doing it. so.
Oftentimes, sometimes is a calculation that you
Mhm.
use the ordinance,
We'll
but,
find out what they're, you know,
yeah,
you have to
yeah.
present that. How they come up with 169.
Yeah, it's,
Yeah.
They had to figure it out somehow.
It very well could have been to outline the new curbing that they're putting in.
yeah,
Yeah.
just the length of the perimeter,
Yeah.
and, you know, the number of on-center trees that
Yeah.
fit in there.
Yeah.
Um, Well, yeah, the calculations are just totally ambiguous, you know, if you look at the entire site and say, what percentage of the entire site are they clearing, it's a small fraction,
Right.
they're not excessively cleared.
Yeah, they are clearing
But-
it's all been developed, technically, it's, everything there's been developed.
Right.
So, which is one reason why I guess the drainage basin, which could be considered wetland, used to be upland. So not being historically a wetland, it wouldn't be regulated.
Can we ask for an inventory of the existing trees that are being removed so that we can go and check? It's like, there's a, you know, an
Right,
18-inch
yeah.
caliper tree,
Right.
or
Yeah,
24,
well,
whatever.
they,
Because they had to come up
I
with
figured
something.
with the size of the environmental impact statement, I did assume they would give an inventory of the trees being taken
Yeah.
down,
But
but
they didn't.
they did not,
And maybe for their
no, yeah,
identification, you know, so.
yeah.
little.
I agree, that could be something that request inventory,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, well, we can request a tree removal replacement
Mhm.
plan.
Yep.
I mean,
Yeah.
they haven't provided that.
Right. That's it,
You sure?
I hope so.
Is that it? On your phone?
Oh, yeah, yeah. They are building, the addition it moves towards celebrations as well, so.
That's where Jimmy's Trucking is? Is that the same building?
Yes.
Is it-
That must have been the ambiguous trucking and shipping that they listed in the
They
use.
had a fire back there, right?
Oh, I was in that building numerous times.
Big building,
Oh,
Yeah.
huge building.
Silver Chim used to be in there, weren't they? My
Did
brother
that,
went there
and
in
then
high
with
school.
Rickles.
Yeah?
Yeah, Rickle.
anything else, Alice, or do you think that?
Well, without, I mean, I guess I must have looked at that briefly.
You did, yeah, you did
And
leave
made some
notes in the,
comments.
yeah, the box turtle you had addressed, the trips you had highlighted, with air quality being an issue, and that just, I looked on the map in proximity to celebration, so I mentioned that as well.
Yeah.
What else did you mention?
Yeah.
Wetland, you mentioned the existence of
So if there-
wetlands, a riparian buffer,
did they show any recycling plan?
no, waiver,
Anti-idling?
yeah, that's all we, yeah, that's all we got, yeah.
Yeah, I guess I'll have to take a look at the drawings and see if there's anything else that jumps out.
Alright.
I don't suppose you would be open to drafting a letter.
You draft a little letter.
because you may have noticed I have a backlog on my desk and
Sometimes I can't even see you.
this is urgent, and, you know, after every meeting, I fully intend to write at least the letters that we discussed at the meeting, and occasionally I get to write one of them before I get buried under other
Yeah.
stuff. So if you drafted a letter and gave it to me, I might need to rework it to
Yep.
look more like the way these kinds of letters look.
To address the comments, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Okay.
That would be helpful.
Got it.
So is that the only
Only one.
one? Well, we have incoming, maybe you wanna take these and.
Is this one, that's one?
That's the rest of the month's correspondence.
Oh,
There
That's not
was,
for you, that's for.
notice of an application for a transition area waiver, for 40 Cragwood Road, which is a new, that's one of those, is that one of those applications, where's the, correspondence?
This is 40.
That's 40 Cragwood? Yeah, 40 Cragwood right here, Al.
Yeah, so that's a new warehouse.
That's the one they're tearing down the building? Or is it a
Yeah.
different one?
Yeah, they're gonna,
I saw them
I
do,
think
put
they're
up
gonna tear
fencing.
down the building.
I saw them put up fencing, temporary fencing around it the other day.
On 40 Cragwood?
On the one, it's on the corner? Or no?
I don't,
Hadley and Crackwood?
no, that's one Cragwood, that's the one with the office building?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's down the street.
yeah, that one they're definitely demolishing the building. This one, I'm not sure if they're demolishing the building or adding to it, renovating it. I
It's like
didn't,
PSC&G is in there.
I didn't, get an opportunity
Landmark?
to look at the plans.
A lot of solar panels in it.
Yeah, there is.
A lot of solar panels.
That's a parking lot. Oh, there actually, there's one, is that the one that has the parking lot?
That should be 40. 40? Yeah. Kind of older and,
Yeah, no, I was thinking it was the one near it that has the solar panels that you drive under.
Oh,
up a lot.
That's, you go down Craigwood, it's on your left, right against,
Right
yeah,
there. Choice.
that's them.
Choice Home.
Yeah.
All right, I'll draft that letter.
good. Yeah, so this is incoming notice of, they're applying for a wetlands permit already before they've gotten before the board, which was very forward thinking of them. And then, the rest of the correspondence, which is not a lot.
Thank you. All right, I'll check this out. All good?
That's it?
That's it.
All right.
You want more?
No. You all right, Deborah?
No progress at this time, unfortunately.
Okay, Clean Communities?
Alright, we have a new and possibly exciting wrinkle to the program. The county, Middlesex County has signed up for the Recycle Coach Clean Communities app, which is now part of our Recycle Coach app. We will have the ability to register people for cleanups on Recycle Coach. We can.
Is that a website?
Recycle Coach is an app
Yeah.
that's attached to, there's a link to it on our website on the recycling program page. You can download it onto your mobile device. You can get your own personal recycling calendar to remind yourself when to put out your bins. You can sign up to get reminders to put your bins out, and warnings if a collection's gonna be canceled because of the storm. And there's a what goes where feature. If you don't know whether something should go in your bin or not, you type it in and it'll tell you what to do with it. And there are all these pages that you can read about recycling and stuff stuff like that, their blogs. And this Clean Communities app, I haven't explored it yet, but there are, well, I have to a certain extent, there are videos that people can watch that talk about why littering is bad and what they can do about it. And there's this feature where we can ask them to create a flyer for our cleanups, or we can upload our own flyer, and it'll be there. If somebody opens the app and clicks on upcoming cleanups, they'll get to see this flyer, and then they can sign up to participate, which is kind of neat.
Yes.
So I have to look into that. We have to give the recycle coach people at least 4 weeks' notice in order to take advantage of that, so that they can get it set up. But we have a date for our fall cleanup. The Clean Communities Advisory Board met last week, I guess, and decided on September 30th as our fall cleanup date.
I will not be available.
Well,
Sorry.
Oh, Tom, you're just so busy.
I've got a golf outing. It's my league.
Oh, goodness.
My league golf outing.
Oh, my goodness.
Sorry.
It's good, you need a break after all that work.
yeah, but who's gonna haul down all the boxes?
Have to,
Oh, good.
Adam.
I saw Jordan, Alice.
Mandel?
Yeah, and I mentioned to him, he goes, let me know, I'll be there.
Good.
See, there you go.
Well, did you let them know?
I told him the date.
Oh, good, so
He
you
said,
did let them know.
but we still have to
Yeah, they'd
let him
remind
know.
him.
But he knows.
Your counterpart in crime, Adam.
Nah, he's gone.
Yeah, so anyway, if those of you who can save the date, would save the date, that would be good. And what else is happening with Clean Communities? Oh, yeah, that's not important. Luke is July storm drain clearing. He cleaned 72 storm drains, collected 12 bags of litter from them, plus about 60 pounds of roadside debris. I finally got the recycling litter crew to finish the litter can survey, so that we can verify where the cans are, so that I can solicit quotes for the litter can contract. And the request for quotes went out last week. I haven't heard back yet. And I guess Deborah can talk about the Clean Communities Association activities and the Adopt a Spot and whatnot.
For Clean Communities, I spoke to Mr. Thomas Flynn, the gentleman who John recommended to be a speaker for the presentation that we're looking to put together. He's willing to help us out. In fact, I asked him to pick a subject that he thinks would be of interest to the community. So I'm gonna let him decide that. I reached out to Tree Orlando at the senior center, and I'm just waiting for some dates. I told her from the first week of October until the second week of November, because I don't wanna get too close to Thanksgiving. Monday through Thursday evenings around 7 o'clock, so I'm just waiting to hear from her. And then I spoke to Mr. Flynn again this morning, and I said to him, as soon as we get the dates, I will let him know, and then we'll coordinate the dates, and he already has some ideas and things that he can talk about.
Oh, yeah.
We got a lot to talk about, so. And that's it. I'll have more information at next month's meeting. And as far as Adopt a Spot programs, did you speak with Mike Schuschma? Have you had a chance to?
I talked to him today and he says his Lions Club is down to like 5 people. So he says they can probably do like one little cleanup a year to get them, but for as many as they're supposed to do. He says they can't just do it with the
Yeah.
5 of them.
Okay, so, it would be nice if we, I don't wanna blackball them or anything, but it would be nice if they maybe sent a letter or
I'll tell
just saying, just to cover themselves. Cause I don't
Say
wanna,
they can't do it anymore,
Yeah.
they need to.
Yeah, because it diminished membership.
yeah, and that's fine.
them. Okay.
And the same thing with Cedar Grove Bible Chapel. I spoke to Mr. Innes about a month or so ago, and he basically said the same thing, and I asked him to submit a letter saying that, the same thing.
Okay.
And then we finally got back.
Yes, I saw.
Get it?
Yeah, no, she
Oh,
tried. She dropped it
no.
off.
Mary Ann Williams from Keystone. She initially sent us the agreement, but she left out whether she wanted a 1 year or 2 year, and she made it very clear that she wants a 1 year. And then there was 1 or 2 other things that they left out, and I wasn't comfortable having her tell me, or having them tell me what they wanted added to this. I thought it would be better if they did it themselves, or I even said she can email me. But I guess they completed it, and they dropped it off with Alice, so
All set.
So we've been
I
doing
just
that
have to
for
sign
years.
Here you go.
I'm gonna look at it first. I'm not just gonna sign something, cause I'm signing on behalf of the borough.
Of course.
March 16th, that's 6 months ago.
Yeah, well, that was when she thought she renewed, but we ran into the problem with the hold harmless, and,
Yeah.
you know.
Okay. And for the 3rd quarter, we only have 1 renewal. 1 adopt a spot agreement renewal. I forgot who it was, but I'll be reaching out to them on Friday.
Did you get my note about Americold?
Americold?
Yeah.
No.
Americold, contacted me and said they want to,
What was the person's name, Renee?
yeah,
Okay, I got those
You saw
emails.
that?
Yeah.
that they are planning to adopt both Walnut Street Park and Shadyside Park.
But they have 1 approval by next Friday, they'll have the final approval. Is that what that's what that email said?
Yeah, I didn't read it in detail, you know,
I did.
okay. So what approval do they still need?
I think I'm not exactly sure, but she says she got the first approval, and she'll have the final approval by possibly next Friday.
Yeah, probably, 2 different
Well,
people or
isn't it,
offices or something.
yeah, or
that need
maybe
to
it's
sign off.
a corporate thing
Yeah.
they have to get approval from.
Yeah.
So,
So that's a real plus, having a big company like that.
yeah, well,
Big
didn't
program.
Amerigold used to be Halls?
Yes.
Okay. And Halls was very supportive. Did the same owner?
No, Miracles
No.
conglomerate. They're
Okay,
out of Atlanta. My wife works for them.
okay,
Totally different.
okay.
Doesn't like it.
Yeah, I got the feeling it's not the warm
Nah,
fuzzy
she's a
place.
number now. She's not even,
That's a shame.
family.
Oh,
I mean, they knew my
definitely
name and
different
everything.
when the
We
Jane
hung out with the
family
Janes.
ran it. Yeah.
Yeah, she's not thrilled.
Yeah. Still, if they can get their team together and
Yeah.
do the stuff. And also, I was approached by the manager of Home Depot, who would like to get involved in some way. He suggested possibly providing supplies for the next cleanup. And I said, well, we have supplies, you know, maybe you would wanna take a more active role, possibly in an adopt-a-spot across from your, store.
Yeah.
So, this was at National Night Out, he came up to me. And he said he would drop off his card the next day, only he didn't, so. But I think we may have to go to Home Depot and
Figure out
pay
who
him
it
a
is.
visit, yeah.
You'd be able to find
Is there a spot in mind over there?
Well, now that the Lions Club is back
Oh, that is
again,
right there.
That's
No.
fine.
It's not as bad as it used to be, right?
right, well,
With
the
the big
plastic
plastic
bags
bags?
are gone.
We've only been doing this for a short time, Alice and I, and Genevieve has been helping us out, going to these events and promoting the Adopt a Spot program and clean communities and everything. And it slowly seems to be picking up, or creating awareness, so,
Good. So,
baby steps.
yep.
That's it.
Thank you. Anything more else?
No, that's it.
Okay. Da-da-da.
Forestry?
Forestry.
Ooh. Well, I had Dorothy read over an article. I actually meant to pass it around to everyone at one point. I guess we can start that going. For the Big Trees of SP campaign or program. I know we discussed the cherry, the black cherry being the specimen, but changed it up to the pin oak being more easily identifiable and extremely more prevalent. So I can get that into tap into the Observer, and I can forward it to whoever runs the Facebook page.
Oh.
Just the environmental page, or I suppose.
Well, I could put it on the Highland Woods page.
Okay.
Yeah, give it away.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure thing.
Post it on Borough website too?
I'm sorry.
Post it on Borough website?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, we should,
Yeah.
hit the usual suspects.
Post a picture of it too.
The only true hindrance for common folk to measure the height of a tree, that would be the only real
Yeah,
obstacle, really.
do you have instructions on how to do
I
it?
do, a link. Which I
Look
didn't
at
exactly
the
want to do a
telephone
link, like, so the link will be printed in the newspaper. If like people wouldn't love that, because you
Yeah.
can't click on a link. But yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So maybe on the newspaper version, maybe please go to the njfs.com to find not the whole HTML
right.
link. So
Lisa,
yeah.
give it back now. Alice, I took the membership application.
Okay, good. So we're ready to go on this.
But that's all
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
That's,
If you wanna scan it and send it to me, I'll send it to her.
Either of us.
It's because I was signing.
very good. Do we have a record of emails in terms of, in case I ever go away, untimely demise? In case, just to give access to this email, do you write these down, like should we make that a record maybe?
A record
In
of
terms of the username and the login information.
that who respond to the.
In
to
the event,
this?
just so maybe someone else who might want to
But
have
are you-
access to the
Are you
email.
are you setting up a website?
Oh, the email. I apologize. If you probably haven't gotten the paper yet, it's bigtreessp@gmail.com.
Oh, okay, so they're supposed to contact you with that.
Yeah, I'll email you the
I have a
link, so it's on the login info, just so it's on record. Yeah.
I have on my computer, I have, in Outlook, I have a folder for save that email, so
Oh,
I
you
can
do?
save it
Okay.
and save that email.
Okay.
Just big trees, not big old trees.
Yeah. Should we
Just
take a
big
vote?
trees.
I don't know. I mean,
Trees don't have to be old to be big.
Right.
that's
Yeah,
true.
some grow very quickly.
Okay, and what are we?
Tips. I mean, you can any recommendation. I mean, really, even the
Are we
punctuation.
looking to preserve these trees? Are we looking to take
I guess
them?
we'll see how it goes. If it's so I mean,
Are we
technically
looking to take them
the
down?
state technically, when they identify a champion signature emeritus tree, well, emeritus is gone, but any of the prior, I believe they put it under like the not the scarlet oak, the
Salem oak.
Salem oak. That was a protected tree. It had rights
So
as a
the
tree.
state can do that? No, it doesn't have to be the town?
I mean, the town, I don't think can. Oh, this isn't. This is just our own
Just
zone.
the
of-
other community.
Yeah, we will have very likely smaller trees compared to.
Right,
Yeah, yeah, but you understand. Yeah.
yeah, but I mean,
Yeah.
the town could, well, I don't know if the town can, if it's on private property.
That's the thing. I don't know if. Yeah. I think the owner can elect to have it.
Yeah, maybe
maybe
the owner
protected,
could
yeah.
grant a conservation easement for,
And that little.
10 square
Yeah.
area of that property.
That'd be interesting, actually. But anyway,
Cool.
that's it.
Okay. I don't have anything on Highland Woods.
I guess this is where we talked about the Wallwood Avenue planting plan. What is the question?
I was just wondering if there was a recommendation made yet.
Oh, yeah, I went out there and I took a look at things and I made a recommendation to Len, and he forwarded it to the project manager, John Freeman, and asked him to have his landscape architect draw a planting plan. But John Freeman said that she is on vacation and won't be back till next week.
Okay.
But I recommended that, I mean, Norwood is great for trees, it's got these huge, I mean, gosh, we can put in a lot more trees than were taken down. The southeast side of the road has overhead utility wires, so you plant small trees there. I'm recommending ivory, silk, tree lilac, which we've planted on Franklin Avenue, it seems to be doing quite well
Oh, yeah.
there.
Okay.
And ginkgos, which also we've planted on, well, ginkgos are on the other
Not the
side.
side,
Yeah.
The other small tree I was recommending is serviceberry, a tree form serviceberry, which is beautiful in the spring. It has edible berries, but you never get to taste them because the birds go after them so quickly. And it's, you know, it's a pretty tree, and it doesn't get very big, so it's good for under the wires. And then on the other side, I was suggesting ginkgos, little leaf linden,
So,
lace bark elm, which we have planted on Lakeview,
All right, yeah.
and.
We brought up dogwood, I believe, as well. I think we
Where on
mentioned
Lakeview?
dogwood last week.
Where, the one that was in front of your house that got knocked down, that was a
By
lace
the
bark.
water company, they
Yeah.
killed it.
Yeah.
They did, they literally killed it when they put the new tank in.
Really?
And I was very proud to have that tree in front of
But
my
there
house, it added value to my property.
There are still.
Adam's wheels are turning, he's like, well, maybe we should make them replace it.
There you go.
But you have, it's not a great planting spot now because this thing that's there now. But, the tree can be really beautiful. We had the bank, we planted one in front of the bank because they had taken down an extra oak. And, you know, I said to them, look, you took down this oak and you haven't replaced it.
Do I have a decision in what tree goes in front of my house?
We're not putting a tree in front of
Oh.
the house.
We could ask them to make a donation for another location though.
Well,
Right?
they took the tree. Oh, the water company?
Yeah.
Yeah, we could. The water company is already planting
But are they,
17 and 30 trees on their property because of the removals that accompany their new treatment plant.
but is the water company gonna wanna rehash something that happened years ago with the tree in front of my house?
No, of course not.
No.
Trees don't forget.
Yeah.
Neither do the people that own the property.
Right.
But it wasn't your tree.
That doesn't matter. It was the, it was the only tree on my property, I have no trees on my property.
Well, plant a tree on your front lawn.
Maybe.
You can do that.
I'm
Lace
actually,
bark elm is very nice.
I'm actually having a fence put up because kids ride their bikes diagonally across and walk on my property. Ever since I got Ring, I'm not missing a thing.
Yeah, so.
Serious.
Yeah, so I suggested 4 medium-sized trees. I don't think we should be putting in oaks. You know, they have gorgeous oaks there, and it was tragical that they had to be taken
Yeah.
down, but I don't think we should be putting in oaks. It just,
Is it feasible to give the residents a choice? Those local, give them, you know?
I don't know, I'd
you're
say,
gonna have all kinds of mixes.
let's
I
let the
mean, can you
landscape
put one in front of
Right.
each house or what?
No, well, then, yeah, I
I
personally.
feel bad. I mean, I would hate to suddenly have just those were really nice trees. So, and they are you've probably been
Mhm.
called
I
or
just go one
Oh, yeah.
variety.
yelled at as if you took them down.
you
Yeah.
know, oh.
So anyway, some consolation for them.
Bill Dish of Dish Tree Service called me up and he said, I'm sick. He said, have you been on Norwood Avenue? He said, I'm sick. Bill
Does he
Dish-
live on Norwood
Takes
Avenue?
down
No,
trees.
Bill Dish is a tree service guy.
Oh, okay.
No, but his daughter dates a person that lives on that street. So he's familiar
Yeah.
with trees, so.
Okay.
Yeah, no, believe he hasn't retired yet.
Just got a new knee.
He's got a new name. Oh, good for him.
He's good for another 10,000
Well, I
miles.
hope so. He's the guy we use for
But
tree work.
He was
Oh,
telling
in
me
town?
he was telling me for years he wanted to get his knee replaced, cause I had my knees replaced for 8, 9 years now. Oh, I gotta get mine replaced, he just had it done. He's been talking to me for 8 years. About it. He got it done over the winter.
Yeah, anyway. So I don't know if the landscape architect is in fact going to take my recommendations. She may have better ideas of her own.
Yeah,
But
I mean, those selections aren't bad.
I think I made good
Yeah.
recommendations, so
Good.
we'll see how that goes. But anyway, there is plenty of money available. I also recommended that we install root barriers, which could add $100, $200 to the cost of each tree. But I think that would be worth it in the long run.
They're gonna stake them?
Well, they always stink.
Is that the thing where they put the water?
No,
those
no,
are
no.
The,
A root barrier, it's a physical barrier that goes in the ground next to the curb. On either side of the lawn strip,
okay.
it protects the,
It prevents the roots from,
Yeah.
from going out.
Okay.
The roots go down before they
Never
okay,
heard of that.
So they're gonna prostrate, they
Never
do.
knew that.
okay.
And,
Are they robust?
well, you have to get good quality
Yeah.
barriers and put them in right. I
Never
mean,
heard of
I watched a YouTube video about it, you know, you
Yeah.
have to make sure it's smack up against the dirt, you know, you can't just shove it in there haphazardly.
Yeah.
Because the roots will,
Yeah,
Warm
it's
leads.
wet, yeah.
but if it's installed properly, it can spare you a lot of expense on
Yeah.
sidewalks and pavement. And right now, there is a lot of, I mean, there's $35,000 in the tree fund, and there were 2 very large tree replacement checks that never got put into the tree fund. So,
That will eventually be.
hopefully,
Yeah.
I don't know what Glenn is doing. There is enough money to do a bang-up planting job to replace those trees.
That enough for trees? That it? Okay. Historical sites preservation. It's next month, we meet on the 13th next month. And I hope by then we may have some information from Grubb Associates about the determination of the artifacts that were found on Brunswick Avenue. That is when, September is when the state requires all paperwork involved with the archaeological dig to be filed with the State Preservation Office. And that's when I was told by Grubb's associate that we would also be privy to all the filings and hopefully the actual planning to bring in these artifacts and put them on display. So we'll see what happens in September.
When did you first bring this up? Because it seems like it's been a while.
It was February of the year before, right? No, February this year. It's just been a year.
Is Grubb
even a year.
stalling, or is it?
Excuse me?
Are they stalling, or is it?
No,
Just takes a while.
archaeological
Oh, okay.
investigation
Can't
and
do it.
requires
Yeah,
a
I
great
didn't
deal of
know.
study. No, there's paperwork. Every item that's unearthed has to be cataloged,
Okay,
and it's very detailed,
okay.
and they have to follow so many
Guidelines.
rules and
stuff.
regulations,
Yeah,
so.
okay.
All right, I don't think there's any, no, I don't think there's anything else. Pollution?
Just to bring up that, again with that last site plan, is that investigating in that letter you want me to draft up? Should I mention something about paying into the tree fund based on those additional trips? We'd have to come up with some type of,
There's
know.
no legal justification for that.
there is not. It's just they can say yes or they can say no.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
the planning board could request a compensatory mandatory,
Yeah.
but they, why pick on them?
Well, this is when you could start.
Yeah.
I mean, is that something that
I
you'd
think
be?
they would have to adopt some formal thing. I don't think they can just arbitrarily impose it on one applicant.
No. Okay.
Um,
And they could push back in a way, or they could, or they would just say no.
there's nothing in the development review ordinance that I'm familiar with
Right.
that requires compensation for
Oh, there probably
extra
isn't.
trucks.
There probably isn't.
I mean, I think we should start with getting an impervious surface ordinance that
We
limits
very
the
well
amount
could.
of
Very well
impervious
could, yeah.
surface
Yeah.
before we, but, there was one applicant, I think it was the 800 Montrose Avenue warehouse.
Just recently, yeah.
Where in my review letters, I made an issue of the truck traffic and the air quality.
Mm.
And they responded and said, it's minimal impact, that, there are only this many trucks, this is considered, minimal under the traffic, standards, it's like 800 trips per day. I mean, 100 additional truck trips per day is considered, not excessive. Okay, that's normal. And I pushed back a little and wrote a response to that saying, well, yeah, but, you're not basing this on any data. You ought to be able to quantify this, how many particulates a diesel engine puts out, blah, blah, blah. So they came back with some numbers. And when I analyzed it, I found his analysis was not really accurate, and his analysis, he said it proved that there was no significant increase. In fact, there was a decrease because of the fewer vehicle trips per day, because than an office use would be, or a factory use would be. But when I looked at the numbers, I wrote a response showing that he had made an error, and in fact there was going to be a positive impact. But so what? The board doesn't care. The board is not going to take this, what they consider an arcane discussion, and use it to deny an application for development. So it, satisfied my detail-oriented mind to go through the exercise, but it was futile. Resistance is futile.
Yeah.
But we should not stop resisting.
Right.
Why did I just start talking about that?
Well, not deny, but you're talking, I wasn't actually paying attention, some sort of mitigation.
Oh, just
For-
with the replacement of,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
You're not gonna
equating
decide, but,
additional emissions
maybe
to,
new normal.
They might say no, but should he ask, they're gonna say no, right, but should he ask, basically.
Well,
Start a movement.
you could phrase it
citing the
in,
proximity to celebrations as well,
Mm-hmm.
being close to a high density housing.
you could propose it to the board, but the thing is, what would this, let's say they made, you're saying pay into the tree fund on the theory that the trees are gonna absorb these extra particulates.
Sure.
I don't think
And
trees
to avoid
actually do
further
absorb
complaints,
particulates.
avoid complaints from residents.
Avoid complaints from that sounds.
But how are they gonna do that? I mean, we can make them,
Or help.
we can make them
It's
plant
change
more.
carbon dioxide for oxygen, and it also contributes to the reduction of urban
Yeah.
heat
No,
island effect.
you don't have to sell me on the environmental benefits of trees. I'm saying on that, if they don't have the ability to plant additional
Oh, I
trees
see what
on
you're
that property
Oh.
to
Okay.
shield celebrations,
Okay.
I mean, in a more general sense, planting more trees in the borough will help.
Mhm.
But the number of sites where you can plant trees keeps shrinking because we keep putting up more warehouses. So, I mean, maybe, you know, years ago, the Environmental Commission did an environmental resources inventory. An on-the-ground inventory where the members of the commission went out and did open space surveys and, you know, they did all this research. And
How long
they,
ago was that?
1990s?
It was published in 1990. It was published in 1990. I should show you all. I still have copies of them on the back shelf. I show you what the borough used to look like in terms of open space. And, you know, maybe something like that should be done again. An on-the-ground survey of what open space still remains and where there are available places to plant trees.
Yeah, but how would we be able to determine that? We have tax maps going back to 2009.
We have enough mapping ability to do that. I mean, it's, Dorothy drew in all the new subdivisions the last time she worked on this. You know, the maps we're working from, we have the subdivisions drawn in by hand. But we stopped doing it because we thought we were gonna get a digital mapping program.
Do we know where the borough is with the digital mapping?
It will be coming up soon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you remind them?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
But, you know, you don't have to do it in such detail, you know. Problem is most of the remaining open space is, well, I don't even know where it is because we haven't been looking at the open space index. But a lot of it is still in private hands.
But if we run the tax reports though through Mary Frances, we'll get an idea of where
Right,
they
well,
are.
you know, we definitely are due to do that. It's been a few years since we last updated the index. But, you know, a report could be, you know, a little on-the-ground research could generate a report with the aim of identifying places that are suitable for planting and doing more planting. Public streets with lawn strips that are wide enough to accommodate trees.
And would the money come out of the tree fund?
Yeah,
Okay.
or from, you know, this is, I don't know, put something together.
I'll draft it up,
and
yeah.
we'll take a look at it.
Maybe I'll send it to the whole group, so.
We'll take a
Do we
look at
wanna
it.
request the report, an updated report from Mary Frances and start from there? And then we could identify with a highlighter, see how much there is?
If you're willing to start working on, updating the index in the computer, you know, it's probably time to do that.
Or do we wanna wait until you,
It'll be a while, but, you know, with the new, with the requirement that we're all have to be reassessed, it's kind of all part of the big plan,
okay,
you know, so I can't say it's it's definitely not happening this year.
right,
I don't know how soon you,
we don't know how far into
and I don't
next
know
year
how
it's gonna
far,
happen.
right. But it is part of the big
Okay.
plan.
Okay. Listen, I have two items under pollution. Okay, the first one is the United States Geological Society actually did a study of our water systems, and it said that 45% of the nation's water supply is contaminated with PFAS.
Wow.
With the what?
PFAS, that's the, and they actually hunted, okay, when they did check for those chemicals, they looked at 32 different chemicals of them, the PFAS, because if you go to P, there's like hundreds of them.
Oh, okay.
You
It's
mean, I'm confused.
PFAS is a pure, it's a fluorinated carbon,
Okay.
okay? Because if you don't know, fluorine's a forever chemical, it'll stay in your body forever, okay?
Can I ask you a question real
Yeah.
quick on that? So your standard water filter doesn't,
That does not take it.
but there's this $300 thing with some type of filter,
There are filters out that will take it
that
out.
will take it
Yeah.
out.
Okay.
Okay.
And on the same thing is actually, South Jersey, there was a group of municipalities and stuff actually ended up suing a company called Solvay, okay? And they actually won their class action suit, okay? And they're actually gonna get $216 million towards the cleanup of their water supply, okay? The actual verdict was higher than that, but most of that other money went to their lawyers. So, but at least they got some monies, so. Just so you know, it can get cleaned up, because I guess ours from Middlesex Water is supposed to be up and running well. But I haven't seen anything, the
Middlesex-
official numbers.
Middlesex Water Company, I think, is suing M and M, 3M?
3M, I think it was, 3M.
3M.
Because they say they're the ones who put the,
They put the stuff in the water, in the groundwater, correct. Okay.
yeah.
Pollution
Where
also.
are they at?
Pollution, there was a meeting here at the borough on the 27th of July, for Woodbrook, and it was it's called an explanation of significant difference, and it was to summarize the changes of the cleanup, because back in 2018, when they estimated the cleanup at Woodbrook, it was 45.4 million in 2018, and then in 2023, it jumped to 70 million, due to in part to inflation and increased construction costs. I was there, Alice was there, a few others were there. Were you?
No, I didn't make that one.
Basically, they wanted to hear from the public what, or just get the public response. And pretty much it came up, that's great, but it's still in not litigation, it's in negotiations between, the cleanup company and, who's that, was it with the state, or is it?
Well, it's EPA.
EPA. And so it was just a public comment area, or, just for the public to know. And, they said that any, responses needed to be, I think it was September 13th. That was the date that you had to get, submitted, but anyways, they're moving an estimated 143,000 cubic yards of soil and debris. Just do it. They're also removing an estimated 4,000 cubic yards of soil and debris that contains the capacitors, capacitor parts, and PCB contaminated soil and debris with PCB concentrations greater than 100 parts per million, to an approved off-site disposal site. So there really wasn't much to go on. They were just letting us know that it went from 45 to 70, and they're gonna make a determination. They didn't know when they were gonna make a determination on, or an agreement to the price, because that's what people were asking. So there is, supposedly gonna clean up the whole site,
Yeah.
so.
I think it's very interesting, I think. Last year, they were ordered by the central EPA administrator, the big cheese,
Yeah,
to re-examine the report.
Yeah, the regional guy, whatever.
Yeah, well, the
Big guy told the
big
region
guy,
guy.
yeah, told the region, what is this region? Two, I think. That they should re-examine the report because he took issue with their basic assumptions about future use and risk to human health.
Yeah.
And apparently they took a look and decided that, no, we were right to start with.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, it was pretty good.
they're gonna go with the original plan.
So the top dog wanted to have this type of meeting to get the public's feedback. It was really, everybody's like, great, that they're gonna clean it up, so. Anyways, that's all I have for the evening.
That's water, just, they're sending out a notice that they're in compliance now with NJDEP. Just so you know.
Yeah, I got a letter from them, I think.
Yeah, maybe some people didn't get it yet.
Yeah. So all they have to do is plant these trees.
That took how long? That was how long ago it was reported for being high? That was 2 years now? Or?
Likely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think right about two,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, wow,
Doesn't seem like it.
yeah,
Well, you know,
As I'm drinking my refrigerated filtered water.
nice.
yeah. Well, you know, probably no level of this stuff is safe.
Yeah.
But, there are limits to what can be done.
That it?
I didn't have anything on pollution.
Move on to green team.
Yep, following that Woodbrook meeting, we had our green team meeting. Bob and Alice, and Bob Longo and Alice,
Deborah.
and sorry?
Deborah was there, wasn't she, Debbie?
Oh yeah, David Boyle was there as well. I knew there was another person. We're moving along with some of the action items. Bob and I guess Alice were talking to the solar, what's it called? Solar
Solar
landscape for low income, middle to low income housing to join in. That's gonna be being rolled out probably, I don't know, within a month or so, 2 months.
Yeah.
Where the homeowners can participate in getting reduced energy costs, bills, by joining this community solar action thing. In previous notes, because I wasn't here, we all know that the police departments get 2 hybrids, which is great. I have to reach out to, I guess, Glenn or Len to get more information on when it's coming in and the bill of sale registration just for our action items. Our next meeting is August 31st. We had to move it for various reasons. People are away. So August 31st is the new date for our meeting at 7 o'clock here. What else is there, Alice? Anything?
Just the green team had a booth
Yes.
at Christmas in July and also at National Night Out. And Christmas in July, I think we were concentrating on Adopt a Spot promotion, and National Night Out, we were concentrating on the community solar and also the reason for the plastic bags ban. We had our prize wheel out there and the high school kids were running it and asking the same sets of quiz questions they asked last year to try to raise awareness of the environmental dangers of plastic. And it was a very popular feature. It kind of ate our table. I mean, people were just lined up for the prize wheel and didn't look at the stormwater management stuff or the anti-idling stuff. But the kids were very generous with prizes, and we're pretty much fresh out of promo items now, so I'm gonna have to order a bunch more promos.
What's the subcommittee that Jonathan's heading? What's that called?
Oh, the creative
arts.
Creative Arts.
team, yeah, he's.
Seems
got
like it's
plans.
gaining steam on that. Right? No?
Is or isn't?
Or is it? No? No?
I shouldn't,
Okay,
I don't wanna comment on it.
okay,
I don't think I think he should comment on it.
alright. But anyways, Jonathan's working on that. He's trying to get the team together and start doing things for the community, which would add to the Sustainable Jersey credits for the bronze certification.
And it has a lot of potential, and if they can get it off the ground,
Yeah,
it could do some really great things.
that's all I have.
Going back to clean communities, we didn't mention the fall cleanup date.
Well, I did.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, you
September
did.
30th.
It's 9:30.
Remember, I'm not gonna be there.
Going golfing.
Yes.
I paid for that outing.
Okay.
I did not hear you say that.
Well, I guess it's because of my monotone, I'm sorry.
Probably, because you're sitting next to me and I can't hear you. Yeah. Okay, public information and technology.
All right. Our Facebook page had, 7 posts in July. None of them were really all that popular. The 2 most popular posts in terms of the number of people reached were the post which informed the public that our commingled boxes at the recycling center were full and we couldn't accept any more bottles and cans until we could get the company to pull them out. And the next post which said that we had an empty box available and we can now take your bottles and cans. So that was like 955 people were reached on the first one and 710 were reached on the second one. But the others were pretty modest. We had, what did we have? I shared a PSA put out by the Raptor Trust Fund warning people not to use sticky traps.
Yes.
And that got some notice. And, what else? Oh yeah, a couple of posts about Bag Up New Jersey, one giving tips on how to clean your bags, and another saying, hey, if you want to donate your bags, here's a map of
Yeah.
places you can donate to, and those got a fair response. So, our site is out there, we have something over 700 followers. And, you know, it's chugging along. We need to do maybe some more exciting posts to ramp up interest, but people look at it. The Green Team page is moribund.
Okay. Okay, stormwater advisory.
Yep, I got a couple of things. First, the EPA has started a program called, Water TA, which is for technical assistance, and it's set out for underserved communities to assist in development and implementation for corrections of their poor water delivery systems and stormwater systems. The EPA will supply subject matter experts in planning, developing, and finding funding sources, and presently there would be no charge to the communities. The things they actually want to help work on, is actually planning and assessment, real project development, partnerships and engagement, funding and financing, and last but not least, the program management support. It's really pretty exciting because not every municipality has the ability to get all the experts that they have, and if the EPA is willing to do that, just ask for the assistance you can go. They actually quoted a couple of the smaller communities that actually had done it, and they're actually redoing their whole water system because they were all lead contaminated and all that stuff. But they actually were able to help them find the money plus design a system that would be better, so it's really a smarter way to go.
What was the website you said again?
It was actually the EPA,
Oh,
the
okay.
federal EPA, and you wanna look at for the Water TA program. Okay? Next thing that came out is that, the state of New Jersey now has flood disclosure laws on the books. So it's supposed to be, the fact is that you can't hide that your house actually does get flooded, but there's a whole bunch of things, they actually break it down, if you are the landlord of only one apartment, you don't have to tell them. If they have 2 or more, then you have to tell them that it's a little convoluted, but at least it's actually out there to try to protect the people, so you know. And one of the things they really want to do is get the municipalities to be able to put the information out so you can actually look, this is a flood area, this is the base flood, this is what it should be. And also tell you if that home was actually actually a severe repetitive loss X amount of times or just a repetitive loss, all that's supposed to be out there for you. If they're still finishing all that, but this is what they're actually,
So as a realtor, right?
right.
It has always had to have been disclosed.
He's trying to
But
say
while
back.
when I am, obviously aware, and we always check we have systems that'll show you if the house is in a flood zone or not. But I think, with the private sale, people can get themselves into sticky situations by not giving that type of information. But it is, flood zones are all public information,
Oh, I know.
Right.
Okay, but it's just that the state's.
And then
not
insurance, when they go through their insurance, I believe their insurance company can
Yeah.
find out how many claims were on
Correct.
that house.
I guess maybe rentals, maybe it's a little bit different, then maybe it was heavily more on the rentals, yeah.
Okay.
And occasionally, if in the event of no disclosure, then you still have to disclose that you're, if asked, or would the seller have to disclose that they're, regardless of the
We
fact, even if there is no
We have to.
disclosure?
If there's no seller's disclosure,
Yeah.
we have to disclose.
Regardless,
it's in
yeah,
the
okay.
regardless,
All right, and just so you know, okay, technically in South Plainfield, we have 845 properties that have a greater than 26% chance of being severely flooded.
Wow.
Wow, 845?
Okay, and that actually represents 60% of all properties in South Plainfield.
Wow.
No kid.
So
That's a high number.
it's a high number. Okay.
Was that residential and commercial?
Yes.
Yeah.
The commercial is actually the commercial for major risk. It's 191 out of 490 properties.
How many?
191 out of 490 have the chance of severe risk. Okay.
60%
Yeah.
in towns.
Wait, I'm not sure what you're talking about, 490 properties in the borough.
Commercial
Commercial
properties. Okay.
490 out of all of them.
No,
Right.
That
for
is all.
major.
That is all of
100.
them,
Just-
490.
Yeah, it's actually for commercial major risk. It's 191 out of 490.
unfortunately. And the houses were
845 that was that, but it was 26%.
845.
Okay. It's just weird numbers that we're seeing more.
Oh, it's
and more.
26%.
26%.
Oh, I thought you said 60%.
No,
Yeah,
26.
that's what I thought. Okay.
Sorry,
Okay.
26.
That's a damn, 60%.
All right. So that's just some of the numbers that are out there. You guys want to take your time and look at all that stuff.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
And last but not least, you can actually
Uh-oh.
look at
Something else.
something else. It's actually a toolkit that's actually come out for first responders, okay? And what they're actually trying to do is make sure all emergency responders know about the water systems and sewer systems, okay? The biggest one that they worry about is being attacked for the water systems, okay? And that's, i.e. somebody's gonna get into their computer programs, their CAD system, their CADAs, and being able to shut water off, or they find the valves that they can get into, okay, and actually put contaminations into the water system. So that's that whole big toolkit. There's a whole bunch of chapters you can go through. It's finally coming out, and we'll see how far that's really gonna get out, how many people are really gonna take the time to go learn. Just so you know, our county actually, one of our smaller water companies actually did get hacked, okay? And the person they finally arrested, who was actually out of Buffalo, New York. Okay,
New York.
okay, but one of the things you worry about is that they're trying to find the back doors to get into
Sure.
the bigger water companies, so they always go after the little ones first.
It's like the small purchases on a credit card.
So, all right, so that's just one of those things that are going out, so.
I'm not able to sleep at night now.
I hardly sleep
That's,
now anyway.
I know.
that is scary.
Okay, all right, so I made your night perfect, right?
The good thing those kids were still here, giving them something else to worry about.
Did you mention that the flyers went out in the sewer tax bill?
Well, they
Yeah.
didn't.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
They
got them,
didn't?
yeah, they did.
they did this
The
time.
sewer tax,
The
not the
sewer
property
tax.
tax, it's
Okay,
sewer
they went out
Yeah.
in the sewer taxes.
Yes, I
Okay.
saw it.
Okay. Yeah, they told me, that's right, they told me they were gonna go out in August.
have, excuse me, do you have anything else to add to this?
Yeah, that was pretty much what I was gonna mention. We already talked about the rain barrel workshop. I mean, you know, we have this ongoing deficiency in our education, stormwater education programs, and the rain barrel workshop, which is progressing, will, you know, give us a couple of points towards that. The kids, you know, that high school kid was talking about painting, but they were sitting out in the sun, that was their choice. I mean, Bob and I were standing in the shade by the building, and they were sitting out in the sun waiting for the paint to dry so they could put the second coat on. And we were looking at them saying, it's a little warm. So, anyway. I mean, these kids have, they're calling this heat waves. I mean, we're not having heat waves here. 140 degrees Fahrenheit in Spain. That's a heat wave.
Was it 140 in Spain?
Not a few weeks ago when,
Yeah.
what was it, like two weeks ago?
Yeah.
This incredible heat wave was,
140.
Europe was socked in. There was a spot in Italy that was measured at 130, and there was a spot in Spain that was measured at 140 Fahrenheit.
I got a water in
People are
Florida.
dying.
Alright, I got a water in
People
Florida.
are-
101.
You know,
Coral.
we had a few warm days here. But I understand where they're coming from. Must be terrible being a kid now. So there was that. And the Greenbrook flood control meeting on Saturday. Supposed to be a memorial service for the people who died during the 1973 flood, and there were 2 people who died in, was it Floyd? But there was a huge crowd of people there. I mean, I've never seen anything like this at a flood control meeting. And all those people were there because there apparently was something was on Facebook, like a call to arms, and saying, find out why this project is taking so long. And the chairman, Ray Murray, went through the Army Corps' report, you know, gave the status of the program, spent a lot of time talking about how they're having problems with real estate acquisitions, because there are uncooperative property owners who own land where they need to put flood walls and levees, and these people won't allow the Corps access to do the testing they need to do. And the Corps has initiated condemnation proceedings on some of these properties because they're just not making any headway. But it's also slow because of this, you know. And so he went through this whole thing, explaining all of this, and then people started asking questions, and it was like they hadn't really been listening to what he had to say, and they just started attacking him. I left because it was more than an hour, and I had to get over to the recycling center, and I wasn't the one who was gonna stand up and contribute to this, you know. But it was hairy. People are getting very impatient with their flood control. South Plainfield, I think they're gonna get to South Plainfield in around 2030. I had notes, and I was gonna mention this, Melanie, that the borough should be paying attention. Yeah, they're going to reach the engineering stage in 2030, and they expect the project to be done in 2032. The whole lower basin part of the project. So, last time we looked at the plans that they had for this region, they included levees in the nature reserve. Because when they drew up those plans, it was the early 90s, and the environmental reserve hadn't been formed yet. As far as anybody knew, there were gonna be houses there. So the houses would need to be protected from flooding. But now we have a nature reserve there, and if they put in levees, the wetlands will be dried out. So whoever is around as we get towards 2030, they should take a hand and step up and tell the Corps to come and talk to the borough about just how much protection we really want. Also, people in general don't like the idea, I think, of having levees in Spring Lake Park. But that's, you know, that's another matter.
That it? Okay, I'm gonna revisit this gas plant once again. What is your name?
Charlie Gradiville.
Charlie.
Yes.
Did you read our environmental commission minutes from July?
No, I would love to get a copy.
Oh, it's too bad you didn't. Did you say that you understood that a discussion was not had by our group about this gas plant? Didn't you say that we didn't discuss it?
No, I don't think I said that. I was anxiously awaiting the release of the July minutes to learn if I missed anything in July, but
Well, they
what I
were
will say
just
is,
adopted.
Yeah, they wouldn't be available until.
right.
After today.
So I was this is my first meeting, as you know. I tried to come in May, wasn't able to. June.
But I thought you said that somebody told you that we didn't discuss it, but in fact we did. And we could have saved a lot of time and clarified everything, I think, had I brought this up, and I did not, and I apologize for it. We did discuss the issue. You can find when do you post the minutes, Lisa?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow, okay.
Yeah, they go to Amy tomorrow.
You'll find it under council liaisons, 5A. We discussed that, the gas plant, the motivations behind, the issues that behind it, and we were under the impression, and probably accurately, because Melanie brought it up, that Governor Murphy had suggested anybody who was opposed to the gas plant should go directly with their complaints to the New Jersey DEP. We also discussed the fact that the opposition was asking our borough council to support this the anti-gas plant movement, and that you wanted us to write a letter to the council and ask them for support. But in our discussion, you weren't here. In our discussion, were you here? In our discussion, we were thoroughly convinced that because you guys have met quite frequently with the mayor and council, and they have not committed anything in support or non-support to you, that was the same stance that we would take. And that we would, and we have it in the notes right here, that we would not send a letter to the DEP, and we took a vote, and we decided to refrain from writing the letter of opposition to them and by extension to the mayor and council.
Oh my
It-
goodness.
It's in our notes.
Right, so here's the
So we,
confusion.
so we voted on this, and since I set the agenda, we don't have to set this again, we don't have to discuss this again at the next meeting.
Okay, I would urge you to reconsider. Just the facts are that on June 22nd, Holly Cox contacted Ms. Temple, and Ms. Temple, in my understanding, what was recounted to me, informed her that the mayor and council aren't gonna take action, so you've gotta go to the mayor and council instead of the environmental commission, because the environmental commission is not gonna, not gonna overrule the mayor and council. It's, I'm just trying to follow the process. We were told earlier in the year to come to the environmental commission. I came to this building in
You're
May.
very welcome
and
to voice your
the
opinion.
meeting was
You know,
canceled.
privately, we may have our own thoughts.
Right.
The meeting was canceled because there was no quorum available, people
Yeah.
were ill, it wasn't like it was canceled because we were skirting this issue.
Of course,
No,
of course not.
we had, I don't know, we had
And we-
enough, four
We
people.
never cancel
Yeah,
a
it's
meeting,
totally
that was the
different.
first one in a long time.
That
we
was
canceled.
coincidental with that.
Yeah.
Of course, no, I'm not suggesting anything otherwise, but
And what we independently think is not relevant to the collective group.
yeah, it's just if it was on your agenda, it would have been nice to have known, right? I mean, I've been reaching out, trying to get it on the agenda. Was it on the agenda last time, or was it just something that got brought up during a report?
It was brought up.
I brought it up.
I understood.
We, not everything gets on an agenda. We bring up just stuff within our purview, within our own responsibilities, within our committees. That's how, it's not necessarily, and, it was not an agenda item, but we did address it.
Okay,
And there
well,
was information sent, links to information and everything, so it's not like we were just not relaying that information, everybody was sharing the information. Of course, at the council meeting, past several council meetings, we definitely heard everyone and, overall decided to not pass a resolution. Question I did want to ask you though, are you having anybody go to the DEP,
So,
Governor Murphy?
Of course.
I mean, because that's where I believe would be the most beneficial.
yeah, so as part of the environmental justice review for this project, there was one hearing held. It was on Microsoft Teams, and more than 150 people attended, and virtually all of them were against the proposal. And we had our voices heard for 3 hours that night, but that's not enough. This is an important project that will, for better or worse, impact your residents, and so that's why we keep bringing it up at council meetings. And again, just trying to follow the
Always
process.
welcome.
You referred us to the EC, so we came to the EC, and then we were told go back to the council, and so we're going back to the council.
I mean, that was a long time ago. Because we already had decided at the last meeting that we weren't we informed everybody that we weren't gonna be passing a resolution. So I don't know who said to come to this meeting, but of course, that's totally your right and your prerogative, and we're happy to hear you.
I appreciate that, and I hope that, the members will take to heart what was said and reconsider, and please put this on your agenda. It's something that's worthy of having a set time and place, and invite the community to come and talk about it. I don't think there's any harm in evaluating it. Again, the
Of course.
Environmental Commission is supposed to advise the council, so rather than the council advising the Environmental Commission of what the,
They don't.
okay,
Be clear about that.
Right.
We definitely are two separate entities here. We have two modes of thinking. But I will say that many of the members that are currently serving as council people and as mayor are former members of this commission. They
Right.
came through this group, so they're not, oblivious to environmental issues at all. If
Yeah, I
you
did
think
get
that
that
they're just
impression.
politicians, what's just a politician these days? They have to be very well-rounded for the issues that are happening in your own community and in the larger areas. But, I do appreciate you coming in.
Thank you.
And I think it was really great to see these South Plainfield kids getting involved, because I've been in this town long enough to know that there's a lot of apathy. And I see it with adults, and I see it trickle all the way down to the kids. But to see the kids standing up for something that they believe in is absolutely fantastic. So whether this issue falls flat on its face or becomes a success, either, however you wanna look, what's the success and what's the failure, it's good for the younger generation to see how they can affect things that are gonna truly impact their future. Cause we're done for, we're toast, at this point, but they're not, so.
Well, I appreciate the dialogue, and I think there's more dialogue to be had, with your residents and also with organizations like ours, so I'll continue the dialogue, and we'll take it from there. I'd appreciate it if I could get a copy of those minutes, and looks like you might even be recording the meeting as well, audio recordings.
Sorry?
You make an audio recording of your meeting, so I could find out what I missed in July?
We don't
No.
publish.
We don't publish those.
Oh, I see an audio.
So you get the
That's
minutes,
for my,
the minutes are on the website, right?
yes,
Yeah, the
if you
minutes
go on
are
the
on
borough
the
website,
Right.
you go to departments, commissions,
Yeah.
environmental commission, you can bring up the.
Oh, yeah, I'm very
Yeah,
familiar
It'll
with
be
the
submitted
website.
tomorrow, you said, to
Yeah,
Amy's.
I just-
Yeah,
I would
right, so we approved
Yeah.
last month, tonight, so I'll put it on there.
Appreciate that, I'll be requesting the recording.
Requesting the recording.
The recording.
Yeah, I can file with the clerk's office if you like.
I guess maybe you better do that then.
The recording is only to assist with the secretary doing the minutes.
Well, whatever he has a legal right to, he can.
That's it.
Okay,
Yeah.
we're requesting it.
Yeah, I'll file the request.
Yeah. It would have to be filed.
Jeez. Let's move on. This is going downhill fast. Incoming, outgoing correspondence.
Well, you have the list, there's not a lot on it. Well, it's a lot of emails back and forth, on various things. That's gonna sound good.
Yeah,
Cover my ears.
yeah.
Time to go to bed?
Yes.
Hi,
I'm on my way home.
okay, come and get me.
Okay. there's
Well,
that.
no, I'm still in the meeting, but I'm gonna, okay. I can't drive because I hurt my arm. Walker has to come and pick me up.
That's your Uber driver?
Yeah. Yeah, so you can look at the correspondence list, a lot of email correspondence, mostly having to do with the Adopt a Spot program. One comment to the board. So if anybody's got any questions about anything on the list, I'll answer.
Yeah.
Okay, old business. Old business.
Nothing.
New business.
Dare anybody to bring anything new up.
Adjournment.
Motion.
Aye.
All
Sorry.
in favor?
Favor. Aye. I said aye twice. Tired.
Good
I
night.
second, and then aye.